There's a popular magazine for hikers called Trail Magazine. In their February 2004 issue, they published directions on how to get down from Britain's highest peak. Returning from 4,409 feet requires explicit and detailed directions, especially in bad weather. But if you were to actually follow the directions, they would take you right off the edge of a cliff and into a 1,000-foot drop.
At next intersection, turn right.
Imagine traveling along, feeling secure and confident, not knowing that the directions in your hand, if actually followed, would lead to your destruction. The truth is, on this trail called life, all of us are following someone's directions. None of us are really blazing our own trail. We all follow a path that has been laid out for us by someone claiming to know the way. The question is, whose directions are you following? What path are you on?
It's awful about Eric.
Yeah, I know.
To go out that way at his age makes me feel ancient.
He still has some stuff up here. Anna said she'd pick it up. I'm glad. I'm tired of seeing it.
Look, what's done is done. No need to second guess yourself.
No. If anyone needed to do that, it was him.
We meet a man in Matthew 19 whose name we don't know. Because of his description in the Gospels, we often refer to him as the rich young ruler. It certainly seemed to outsiders that he had chosen the right path. Most people prefer directions that promise wealth and power. Ultimately, what separates a fan from a follower is commitment. Many consider themselves followers, but what happens when their commitment is tested? Like this man in Matthew 19, most of us will come to a crossroads where we will be forced to choose between Jesus and something else that we love.
Tim said nothing less than 20%.
Eric, you're killing me. This is Thomas Carter we're talking about here. This would be a huge deal for me.
Not at 15% he wouldn't.
Eric, come on!
We're done. Ugh, can't stand that guy.
Thomas Carter would be a huge client, Eric.
You think I don't know that?
If you're willing to lose Carter over 5%, yeah.
We're not. Frank is. Thomas Carter, please. Eric Nelson from DCIM. Yes, I will.
Eric, what are you doing?
Fixing a problem. Watch and learn.
Eric?
Thomas, how you doing? Great. How's Nina? Good. And the kids? Good to hear. Good to hear. Listen, I just got off the phone with Tim. Tim's my boss. I was able to knock him down to 15%. Frank said 20? Wow. That's, yeah, Frank's Frank, you know. That's why you're probably going to want to go with me on this. I'll fax it over. Glad to have your business. You too. Thank you. Bye. What?
I just can't believe that you're the same guy that sits down the pew from me on Sundays.
This isn't church. It's business. The sooner you learn that, the better.
Matthew tells us in verse 16 the question that this man asks Jesus. He asks, "Teacher, what must I do to get eternal life?" Now you have to give him some credit. If you only have one question to ask Jesus, this is the question to ask. How do I get to heaven? But even the way he asks it reveals the heart of a fan. How do I get to heaven? You see, he was putting the emphasis on his good works. He thought it was his impressive resume that was going to get him in.
Look at you, do-gooder. You did a great job planning this. Great PR.
Oh, I'm sure Jesus likes it too. It's his birthday after all, right?
He wasn't born in December. I learned that from my dad. His official policy in life was to suck the fun out of everything.
Did you bring a gift there, Scrooge?
Well, yeah, it's in there.
Bottom of the barrel, though, huh? Just like you, huh?
It's clawing its way to the top. Oh, hey, Frank, how's it going?
You. How dare you?
You can yell at me.
How dare you?
You would have lost Thomas Carter anyway.
You think you can just steal my clients?
I saved them from your incompetence.
Well, let me give you a little bit of help. I quit.
See, fans want to follow Jesus, just not in such a way that it interferes with their lives. According to some recent research I came across, 65% of American adults between the ages of 18 and 42 would agree with this statement. I have made a personal commitment to Jesus that is still important. Now, on the surface, that seems pretty good. 65% is impressive. But according to that same research, these committed Christians lived a lifestyle that was, quote, statistically equivalent to that of non-Christians. So when asked about their activities from the previous 30 days, Christians were just as likely as non-Christians to have gambled, to have visited a pornographic website, to have taken something that didn't belong to them. They were just as likely to have gotten drunk and been involved in physical abuse. They were just as likely to have lied or talked badly behind someone's back. See, they said they were committed, but they weren't completely committed. And fans try to compartmentalize their life. They try to obey Jesus in the areas that they want to obey him in. But Jesus made it clear, there's no such thing as selective allegiance. That when we decide to follow him, he calls for complete commitment and total surrender.
Well, if she shows up there, will you have her call me, please? Bye.
Wanted to see me?
Did you nail down the Graphicon account yet?
Mark's talking to him.
You need to be talking to him.
Mark's been courting him for weeks.
Exactly, nothing's happened. Take the account.
Eric, I can't just take his account.
I can't what? Do my job?
What's wrong with you?
Get it done or get out.
MSNBC recently did this report on what they called the new vegetarians. They interviewed this girl named Christy Pug, who kind of represents the new vegetarians, and here's what she said. She said, "I usually eat vegetarian, but I really like bacon." And she kind of represents this new breed of vegetarians who stay away from meat unless they really like it. Well, as you can imagine, the old vegetarians, well, they don't think too much of these new vegetarians, and the new vegetarians have had to change their name. And so now they call themselves flexitarians. People who don't eat meat unless it's inconvenient or uncomfortable, unless they really like it. And I kind of like the term flexitarian because I would consider myself a flexitarian. Like, I don't eat meat unless it's being served. And really, that's not a bad way to think of how a lot of people approach their commitment to Jesus. I really like Jesus, but don't talk to me about saving sex until marriage. Don't talk to me about forgiving the person who hurt me. I really like Jesus, but I don't really like serving the poor or going to church. And they would say, I'm completely committed to Jesus, but they're not 100% committed.
Back from the dead, huh? A heart attack. Worried about you, man.
Yeah, me too. Look, I'm sorry about what I said before.
Just forget about it. Don't even worry. Don't even worry about that. I am sorry about Anna.
It's actually okay. We talked. We're gonna try and Work it out.
Oh, really? That's great. That's great to hear. Definitely. Here.
Uh-oh.
Just open it.
Bum, bum. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. Bum, bum.
That's clever. It's actually an answered prayer. I asked for a new heart.
You obviously need something to relieve your stress. If you'd like, I could take some clients off your hands. No, seriously. If you need anything, just let me know. No more heart attacks. Don't you go dying on me, old man.
When someone became a follower of Jesus, they were leaving behind a former identity. Matthew left behind his tax collector's booth. Peter and the other disciples left behind their fishing nets. And Jesus tells us to count the cost of following him. And for the new Christians in the book of Acts, it was a costly decision. It was not popular. They were always in the minority. In fact, when they were baptized, they were usually baptized in a public place as a way to declare their allegiance, to make it clear to all their friends and family that their old life, their old identity was no more, and now they were to be known only as followers of Jesus.
Who knows? Maybe if things go well next quarter, I can talk to Tim about it.
Sorry to interrupt.
What else?
Mark, did you ever get the Graphicon account taken care of?
Gave it to Darren, remember?
I wasn't sure if he... Look, I'm really sorry.
Well,
Thank you for taking care of Mirage and Final Tech for me while I was out sick.
don't mention it.
They mentioned it. They spoke highly of you. I told them they'd be working with you from now on. They agreed.
Eric, you don't have to do that.
I want to. Really. Congratulations.
A few years ago, I was on a mission trip in the tribal areas of Africa. One night, I was getting ready to baptize a few men, probably in their early 20s, when a local missionary informed me that because of their decision to follow Jesus, to become Christians, they wouldn't be able to go home that night. They would no longer be welcomed by their family or in their villages. And for them, a decision to follow Jesus was a decision to choose Jesus over their family and friends, over their own comfort and convenience. And fans don't do that. See, a follower is willing to say, I choose Jesus over family. I choose Jesus over money. I choose Jesus over freedom. I choose Jesus over what people think of me. I choose Jesus over my job or career goals. I choose Jesus. And followers make a decision every day to deny themselves and choose Jesus, even if it costs them everything.
We've got a problem. Frank Murphy's opened up his own business. He's gunning for one of your clients.
Which one?
Thomas Carter. Frank's messing with the wrong company. You're gonna go after him with everything we got.
No, Tim. I can't.
What'd you say?
I stole Thomas Carter from him. It's the reason he quit. I've done enough damage as it is. I can't pile on more. It's just not right.
Well, since you obviously don't need money, perhaps you should clean out your office.
In verse 21, Jesus says to the rich young ruler, "Sell your possessions, give to the poor. You will have treasure in heaven, then come follow me." Do you see what Jesus does here? He says to the man, here's the path you're on. Here's the directions you're following. But you can't follow two sets of directions. So sell your stuff and come follow me. And at some point or another, in one way or another, all of us will have such a test of commitment, where our devotion will be determined and our allegiance will be exposed. Because Jesus will not share you. He won't share you any more than a wife would share her husband or a husband his wife. He wants all of you. And so Jesus says to the rich young ruler, and he says to you and me, I love you, I want you to follow me, but I won't share you, so you choose.
Perhaps you should clean out your office.
I think firing's just a bit excessive.
And I think it's a long time coming. 3 years ago, you became a bleeding heart. And ever since, we've been bleeding money. Now you do this, or you clean out your office.
I don't need anything in my office.
Which way are you going to go, Darren? There's a bright future ahead. Seems a position just opened up.
Matthew 19:22 says that this young man went away sad because he had great wealth. The problem with this man isn't that he had lots of money. The problem was that money had him. He's faced with this choice between following Jesus and keeping his stuff, and he decides to keep his stuff. Money superseded his relationship with Jesus. Now, it didn't have to be money. It could have been a career, it could have been a pleasure, it could have been a relationship, but it's often money. That's one of the reasons Jesus talked so much about it. Money has the most potential to steal us away from following Jesus. Money, like most of the other things that beckon us to follow, can become a God substitute. It promises to do for us the very things that Jesus wants to do for us. We think that money will make us happy. We look to money to find significance. We decide how much we're worth by, well, how much we're worth. We look to money to make us secure. And we deceive ourselves into believing that if we follow money, if we just had enough of it, we wouldn't have to worry and we would find peace. But here's the thing. Jesus calls us to follow him and deny ourselves, to find our satisfaction in him. He is the living water that quenches our thirst, and he wants to be our source of significance. He wants to be where we turn for security. He wants to be the one who satisfies our soul.
It's official. I'm out of here.
Well, keep me posted, okay?
Yeah. I wanted you to have this.
Nah, man. It was a gift.
You'll need it more than I will. I'm sorry, Darren.
For what?
The man you saw in church should have been the same man that you saw at the office. But it's never too late to change paths, right?
To where? The unemployment line? No thanks.
The rich young ruler in Matthew 19 wanted to follow Jesus, but not enough to deny himself. He thought giving up all of his stuff would make him miserable. Denying ourselves sounds pretty depressing. See, most of us have bought into this idea that the purpose of life is just to satisfy ourselves, to put ourselves first, look out for our own needs. But in reality, that just leads to disappointment and to disillusionment. We end up walking away sad. See, really, it's only in denying ourselves, saying no to ourselves, and surrendering everything to Jesus that we really find fulfillment. But fans don't get that. They hold something back because they're afraid that they're going to miss out on something. Followers, they go all in. They give up everything. And in doing so, they find the one thing that they really wanted all along. I can't help but wonder what happened to the rich young ruler. The Bible tells us that he walked away sad because he was rich, but really that's all we know. Maybe he became a richer, older ruler. The fact that we're not given his name is a pretty good indication that there was no change of heart. There was no spiritual awakening for this man. And yet I can't help but hold out hope that maybe in the midst of his hectic schedule and his busy appointments that something happened and he realized the path he was on led to destruction. And maybe, who knows, maybe late one Saturday night, he fell to his knees and he surrendered everything to Jesus.
Hey.
Hey, Darren, Anna asked me if I could come by and pick up some of Eric's stuff.
Oh. Yeah.
Thanks, man. You doing okay?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Catch you later.
Later, man.
Jesus promises that whatever we leave behind in this life to follow him, we will one day receive 100 times as much and will inherit eternal life. No matter what following Jesus costs you in this life, in the end, it won't seem like a sacrifice. It will feel more like a privilege and an honor. So if you were to come to Jesus and ask to follow him, what would he ask you to let go of? What's become too important to you? I remember as a boy singing the words to an old hymn. I'd rather have Jesus than silver or gold. I'd rather be his than have riches untold. I'd rather have Jesus than anything this world affords today. Those are the words of a follower.